Week in Fish and Wildlife, sponsored by your local Montana Toyota dealers.
Thursday morning time once again for This Week in Fish and Wildlife. We're outdoors at Region 3 headquarters with Andrea Jones. Andrea, behind us, some tools that are being put to pretty good use here. These are bear traps for Fish, Wildlife, and Parks. Let's talk about what's going on with our friends, the bears.
Well, the weather's warmed up. We're into certainly late spring, and we've got bears moving about now. A few weeks ago we were talking about them waking up, and now in the last couple weeks we've had some conflicts, not necessarily right here in Region 3, but in western Montana we've had to deal with some on the Rocky Mountain front and west. So just time to make sure that we are being vigilant, reminding ourselves to carry our bear spray, know where we're going when we're out recreating. Certainly, I've gotten out, we want to hike the M, we want to, even there, drinking horse, south of town here in Bozeman, and when you're out in the Madison, for sure, we want to be carrying that bear spray and know how to use it. If you are curious, you can certainly inquire about bear activity in the area. And some things that people don't do is they don't read the signs at the trailheads. They think, oh, they're the same, I've seen them all the time. But if we've got a word of bear activity or mountain lion activity, for example, we are going to post that area, and most likely right at the trailhead. So take some time to stop and then be looking for signs. We always talk about signs, so fresh tracks, scat, other markings, turned over boulders in the case of grizzlies, certainly. Those are really good signs of bear activity.
I would think if folks are out and about too, that we've talked about this before, if you see something, let Fish, Wildlife, and Parks know too. That'll give you guys a heads up that they may be in some area that you hadn't gotten word they'd moved into yet.
Right, well, especially if you see grizzlies, and we want to be looking for that hump, the rounded ears from a distance. If you could take pictures and mark down the location, that's helpful for our bear specialists. But also things like carcasses near trails. That's something that our folks or the Forest Service, if you're on Forest Service property, would probably want to know about, because that's a dangerous situation when you've got a carcass near a trail that's a protein source that might draw in grizzlies.
Again, a bear spray, you mentioned that, but those folks living on the fringes of downtown and that, I would think a good reminder about those grills and bird feeders too.
Yeah, the drills, but yeah, absolutely. Bring in all those attractants for sure if you haven't already, because that's going to bring in that could bring in bears and other unwanted things. Also, if you've got deer that might be feeding on stuff in your yard, whatever it might be, that could also draw in mountain lions. We don't want to draw in the prey species, because if we congregate a prey species, we might bring in the predator species like mountain lions. Again, on bear spray, it also works on things like mountain lions. Just a side note, like if you're hiking in the Triple Tree area or whatever, always good to have it, because it'll work on might work on an aggressive dog, it might work on an elk, things like that.
Perfect. Again, Andrea Jones from the Montana Department of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
This Week in Fish and Wildlife was sponsored by Toyota. Let's go places.